So, back where I left you, we just got our bakeries symbolized by a single symbol. Now I'm going to look for a layer that is meaningful to symbolize with more than a single symbol. So we need something that has some interesting stuff in the attribute table. I'd like to start by taking a look at Wolfpack polygons. So let's go ahead and right click on that layer, and we're going to go to attribute table here. So right click and open the attribute table for the wolf packs. And let's see what we've got here. These are all the current wolf packs, so they're all going to have year 2022. We've got the name of the pack here, so each pack has a unique name. Just kind of pointing out a couple basic geographic information system things. Each of them has an FID, that's a feature ID. So it's basically a unique number that's assigned to any feature within a GIS. And because this is a shape file, it has a FID. If it was a feature class, it'd have an OID. Anyway, that's one of the ways you could tell the difference. And it tells you what kind of shape it is, and these are polygons. Then it has an object ID, because apparently at one time this probably was actually part of a larger database with Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and it probably was a feature class at one time, and they just exported it as a shape file, so more than you need to know. But then we've got the name of the pack, we've got the year, so these the most current ones that they put out is from 2022. We've got the pack ID number, so Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife gives the packs an ID number. Then we've got the pack status. So interesting, we could have some non-breeding packs, breeding pairs, and a single wolf territory. So we've got a few different, another single wolf territory. So we've got a few different types of pack status. That might be interesting to symbolize on. And then we've got shape area and shape length. And so we've got kind of that information. And that shape area and shape length are going to be, and this is going to be a little bit over your head right now. Wait a couple weeks. They're going to be in the measurement units of the coordinate system used for the layer. We're going to talk a bunch about coordinate systems. It's like all these things just to kind of bring you up to speed. But we're going to talk a bunch about those shortly. But these look like they're probably in probably actually square feet. So somebody probably collected this data in state plane, or the layer was in state plane. If that was all gobbledygook to you and you didn't understand a word of what I just said, don't worry, we're going to talk about coordinate systems later. It's not crucial, but I'm just kind of beginning to introduce you so that when you see it again in a few weeks, you'll be like, oh yeah, she talked about that a little bit. All right, so we'll come back to these fields later, okay? But right now, the fun stuff. Pack status. So what we can see here is we do have something interesting to symbolize these packs on. And it's not numeric. So this is what we call qualitative or text information. So qualitative means you're not putting, it's not something that you measure. So we don't measure and get something like non-breeding pack. When you measure, you get a number. Usually like a continuous number or a number of some sort. And so this is categorical data. So you either are a non-breeding pack or you're something else. So it's categories. So this is categorical or qualitative data versus, and that's in opposition to or different than quantitative or numeric or measurement data. So we need to understand that this field, so each of the columns in an attribute table can also be known as attributes or fields, and this field is categorical data, and so there's ways to symbolize that that are effective, and we're going to talk about those. But I'm dealing with my Spokane Community College map, close-up map, and really it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to visualize wolf packs across the entire state on a map that's kind of Spokane focused. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get some more of our practice in. We're going to go to the catalog, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the pin so it stays open for us. And I'm going to look inside my maps and look at that. We have a Washington overview map that we already created. So I'm going to right click on this and open it. Now I've got my Washington, oh dang it. So this isn't going to look like this for you guys. I was messing around to get this ready for the demonstration, and I forgot to delete what I had added. So pretend you didn't see that. So this Washington overview map is one that we already created, and I put a base map on it. I put the human geography dark detail. I changed that one. You can choose a different base map, and in fact you can change the base map at any time. So don't worry about that right now. If you want to, you can change it to the human geography dark base map. If you want to, you can do that right now. Don't feel like you have to. You could choose a different one if you just kind of feel like choosing a different one. Knock yourself out, okay? And you can always change it later. I turned my labels off, but let me go ahead and turn those on. So those give us some basic kind of human places. All right, so now what I want to do is it just makes more sense to have a separate map, I think, for these wolf pack polygons. So I'm going to right click on the layer, and I am going to, let's see here, I'm going to go ahead and just copy it, and then I'm going to go to my new map. I'm going to right click on the map here in the contents, and I'm going to paste that layer in. So now I've got the wolf pack polygons on this map of just kind of Washington here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the pin on my catalog to get that out of the way. All right, now let's see here. Now we're going to do some symbolization. And so I'm going to right click on the layer, and I'm going to go down to the symbology pane. And rather than single symbol, I'm going to use one of the, really there's two types of symbolization that are going to work best if you're dealing with categorical data, like that pack status data was. And that's going to be unique values or single symbol. This is what single symbol looks like, just all the packs look the same, and that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and use unique values. And then I need to tell the symbolization what field we're going to symbolize based on, and we're symbolizing based on pack status. Okay, boom. So now we've symbolized based on pack status, and I can kind of scoot that over a little bit, and I'm going to hit the pin here so that my symbology pane stays open, and it tells me, okay, symbology, and then it tells me the layer I'm symbolizing. And so now I've got pack status, and it looks like we have 3 different statuses here, and they'll give you a default color, but if you want to look at other color schemes, we do a grayscale color scheme, we could do them a brighter color scheme, and really the color scheme that works best is going to kind of depend on your audience and then the base map you've chosen, because you do want contrast, right? I kind of think that these are designed to have really good contrast if you look at just these kind of these classification ones. So I believe earlier I chose either this one. I kind of like a richer color, so I kind of like these. I feel like they've got good good contrast, and yeah. So there's a bunch of tricks when you're dealing with symbolization. Let me just show you a couple. Well, it's not just a trick. This is something that you're going to want to do. You notice here we've got kind of a little bit of a legend over here in the contents. And we've got this all other values. And so basically this is saying if one of the pack statuses did not fall into one of these categories, it could be all other values. Or let's say you just wanted to symbolize like 2 of these, and you didn't want to show the other, let's say there was a list of 10 and you only wanted to show 2, the other ones would just be called all other values, and you'd give it a real name there. But in general, most of the time, we don't really want to show this whole all other values things because for us, every single pack has a status. So there's none that are in the all other values category. So we're going to go over here to more. And it might take you a while. You might have to do this a few times to remember it. But we're going to go over here to more, and we're not going to show all other values. So now our legend looks a little bit tidier, and it better represents what we're seeing in the attribute table. Okay. All right. So what else are we going to do with this fun data? I think that's it for now, for the moment. If you want to add categories one at a time, you can add them using the plus sign here. I don't have any unlisted values because we added all of them to begin, but you could add them one at a time there if you wanted to. We can mess with the formatting for these. So one thing that I do sometimes is I'll format all symbols. And I sometimes I feel like outlines on polygons get to be a little bit messy or look a little bit busy, so I often remove the outline on a polygon. We also talked about sometimes if you have information on your base map that you want to just have an outline for your polygon. So you can do some of that just by applying a symbol from the gallery. So let's say I took, I don't know, one of these that doesn't have an outline. Now I changed all the symbols to white, which I don't really want, but or a light color, if I hit back here, now I can apply my color again, and it shouldn't have an outline. Yeah, so I just basically got rid of the outline for these and then just changed the colors back. So that's under Format All Symbols, and that's where you can change, and you don't even have to go to the gallery, you could change it over here by, this one says outline width is 0, so it doesn't have an outline. You could also just say no color on the outline, and then it applies it to all of the symbols. You can change the color for one symbol at a time by double clicking on it. And then let's say I just wanted to give one of the symbols an outline. I could give it a dark purple outline and apply, and it doesn't really show up because everything is kind of dark on these, but what if I gave it like a bright yellow outline? That's going to be ugly. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's not working because I told it to make all the symbols the same. That wouldn't, oh, no, it's because the outline width is 0. Yeah, so I can make these ugly. Watch me. Yeah, ugly. But we don't really want any color there. But I could change the color here if I just thought, oh, something slightly different is going to have more effect. And this is where you can spend hours messing with your colors and confusing yourself. The presets are usually pretty good. I don't even know what this one is preset at. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, not quite, but it's nice if they have a similar intensity. I think it just looks better. Okay, I'm happy. Saving this. All right, so mess around and get yourself some colors for your pack status. Yeah, do it. All right, next thing. Let's make sure that we kept up to date in our PDF here. Okay, we did that. If you want each symbol to convey more information, just location, by right-clicking and choosing symbology. Okay, great. And so this is just kind of showing you your single symbol options, and then from there you can pull down and get more options like unique values. But important, before we symbolize a layer, we're going to open its attribute table to explore information about the features by, let's see, by right-clicking on that layer in the contents. Yes. And then you're going to choose attributes table. So this is the Wolfpack polygons. We just saw this. And what information might you want to include in the symbols? Pack status, because that's interesting. You know, one thing that I saw here is I actually didn't know about the Sprague Lake pack, but that's just a single wolf territory. So I wonder, right, if there's just kind of a wolf that's wandering down there, and I don't even know if they would be able to establish in the area. Just kind of thinking about the amount of game that's there, especially in that you know Basin Big Sage and Wild Rye. There's like a lot of mule deer, so it seems like it could be an okay place for wolves, but at the same time, it's like almost all privately owned, right? And you've got lots of ranchers running cattle, and I could just see that could be a tough place for a pack to get established. Anyway, But we see that it's a single wolf territory, so we've added that information, right? It gives us more value on our map, a lot more value than just showing where the where the packs are. Okay, so just showing you some of the options available, and then single symbol. Let's just talk a little bit what works and what doesn't. So single symbol shows location, and that's it. Geometric shapes. I spelled that wrong. Geometric shapes like stars, circles, squares, triangles work well when you have many points. Icons are all right, but and so icons again are symbols that take the form of whatever it is you're trying to represent. So a dot for a school actually looks like a little schoolhouse, but they catch the viewers. This isn't wrapping. I'm not sure why. Why isn't this wrapping? So many software applications to keep up on, you know? Apparently my PDF builder for fillable PDFs is not cooperating. Okay, so you're just going to need to follow along with me, at least for this one, till I can change the formatting of the PDF. So icons are all right, but they catch the viewer's eye and can be distracting in large numbers. So let's say you're just showing campsites along the St. Joe River. That would probably be okay to have a little tent icon on those, right? But if you were going to show like, I don't know, like locations of like collared tundra swans, and every time the GPS signal sends out a locate and you're tracking these swans and it shows a little swan, that would tank your map, that many little icons. So you usually use something like dots for that. Usually for single symbols, you're going to want a size that's like 4 point to 12 point ish, but that can vary on the scale of the map. We're going to talk a little bit more about that shortly. What else do we want to say about single symbols? Yeah, I think that's it for the moment. Okay, so just kind of the difference between geometric symbols and icons, about the size they should be, and then of course you want adequate contrast. Okay, and so contrast can be is usually in color, but it can be in so color is also known as hue in the art world. And it can also be in the intensity of that, or the saturation, but usually we're going to have a different hue. Unique values. So unique values, apparently this fillable box is also just going to give me a line of text. So of course you can always stop the video and see what I've typed. So unique values, what works and what doesn't. So this is used for categorical or qualitative text data. Okay. Oh, if you noticed when I used unique values for colors, our eye can only differentiate 5 to 7 colors. So you're going to have to think of something unique if you've got more than that number of categories, and sometimes that's going to be only calling out a few of the categories and using them. Sometimes it's going to be using different symbols. So you could have a hollow symbol and a solid symbol to double the number of categories you could use to 10 to 14. But the eye can really only differentiate between 5 to 7 colors, so you should limit your categories to 5 to 7 as much as you can. All right. Yeah, what else do we need to know about unique values? Um, yeah, that should do it. I kind of showed you some of the tricks on, or some of the settings that we had. And so we ended up with something that looks a little bit like this, right? Yay. Okay. So we're going to come back here in the next part of this demonstration. We're going to take a look at how you can display more information when you're dealing with numeric fields or quantitative data. So that's where we're going to go next. If you're going straight there, just save this map, and I guess I just saved it, and we'll be back shortly.